Legend of Zelda, certainly a classic, but well, it's so well known, there's surely no secrets left, nothing new to find. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe there's at least one mystery still to solve. This is something that I learned about from YouTuber The Bread Pirate, who made this fascinating video about a glitch with an unknown cause.
Why does this glitch happen? Good question. I actually don't think anybody knows.
Yeah, this guy definitely has me beat on presentation and editing, but I might be able to offer some insight to the situation and figure out what exactly causes this glitch. So let's see in action, and it's pretty straightforward. Head to the first dungeon in the game, and in the very first room you'll be presented with this locked door. Time to start looking for a key maybe, but, well, if you just walk straight out, then right back in, the door magically unlocks. No key needed, this one's for free. The question is though, why does this happen? No other locked door in the game is like this, they'd be pretty useless if that's all it took to unlock them. But why this one door? Is it a bug? Could it be a feature? The weird thing is, this only works if you walk out and walk right back in. If you walk out and head this way, even if you just go to the next screen and come straight back, it doesn't work. It's been theorised that this glitch only happens if you enter this screen going south and come in this way, not any other direction. As the Bread Pirate found out in his video, we can test this out with a Game Genie code that lets Link get a bit messianic and walk on water and through walls. Come in this way, or this way, no dice. But enter through the north and the door unlocks, even if it's the first time you've been in the dungeon. There is one other dungeon, number 6, where the very first room happens to have a locked door. But if you walk in there, walk out and walk back, well, nothing happens. There is one more thing to try though with that Game Genie code. If we head into the screen before the dungeon from the west, going to the east, come in this way, well, now the door unlocks. So it seems like if you walk into the screen before a dungeon from the same direction as there's a locked door, it'll open. But the question remains, why? Very likely the answer is to be found in this comprehensive Zelda disassembly on GitHub. The whole game's code reverse engineered and fully annotated by Aldo Nunez, and brilliantly done it is too. This is the whole game's inner workings, absolutely everything, but it's long and it's dense and it's split up across different files. If I want to find out what I'm looking for here, well, I'm going to have to do a bit of reverse engineering of my own first. I need to know where to look, and I'm going to start with the RAM. That's where everything about the current state of the game is stored when it's running, where Link is on the map, what items he has, and probably stuff about direction too. If I can find that thread and start pulling, I might get somewhere. Taking a look with the Meson emulator's RAM viewer that lets me look into this RAM as the game's running, with a bit of sleuthing at address EE, well, this seems to update every time Link changes screen, but only then, and it takes on 4 different values. A good bet that this might be something to do with direction. This looks like it might be leading somewhere important, so I'm going to set a breakpoint in the emulator, which will stop everything at the precise moment anything is written to the memory address EE, which will let me examine what's happening there. And there we go, when I change screens, it stops here, and I can now see that this piece of code is storing values at EE, and now I can look this up in the disassembly. And yes, this code is definitely setting the direction that Link entered the screen at by working out the opposite of the way he was facing. Now I'm going to set another breakpoint for the same address, but not when it's written to, but when it's read from. And now when I switch rooms, I can see that this bit of code is also running. Looking up this in the disassembly reveals that it does a few things with doors, but what we need to know is that it unlocks them when Link enters a room. It checks the direction he came from, and if it was through a door with a lock, well then it unlocks the door on the other side too, otherwise Link would just get stuck. And now, I think I know what's happening, you might have guessed too. So let's set another breakpoint, this time to stop when and if the direction setting code this bit runs. What happens when I enter the dungeon? Well, nothing, no breakpoint is triggered. And that is, well, that's the key, so to speak. Usually when you go from room to room, the direction setting code runs first, then the door unlocking code runs, and the right doors unlock if needs be. But for some reason when you enter a dungeon, the direction setting code doesn't run. It's never called, so the direction you entered the last screen carries over. This makes the game think that Link has come through the locked door from this direction and needs to unlock it from this side to stop him getting trapped. If I manually set the direction by editing the value directly before Link goes underground, I can easily make the door lock or not lock, depending on what value I use, and I think that must prove it. Why doesn't the game set a direction when Link first enters a dungeon? Well, it's probably just a total oversight on the part of the developers. When the scene shifts to a dungeon, a lot of stuff changes. Things need to be set up differently. You warp to a whole new underground map. It works in a different way to moving to a new screen on the overworld. They probably just plain forgot to make sure that the direction setting code runs or to hardwire a direction in. This bug, and I think it has to be a bug, seems to run through every version of the original game. The first release, the Famicom Disk version, has it. The American NTSC and PAL cartridge versions have it. So does the Game Boy Advance, NES Classics version, and the various Virtual Console versions as well. Why not fix it? Well, doing that is much harder on the NES than it is on modern systems, and as it is, it's a minor thing that doesn't hurt the player and only triggers in a sort of unusual situation. Not much of a problem. Even so, Nintendo have gone back and fixed smaller bugs than this in the various versions over the years. Other things have been changed, the translation's been altered slightly. Maybe they just didn't pick up on this, or well, perhaps we'll just never know. So that is it, another Nat strained out. Thanks as always to my wonderful Patreons, and yes, if you'd like to join them, there is a link below. A shorter video than my usual format, but I hope you enjoyed it, and well, thanks to the Bread Pirate for showcasing this glitch in the first place and for letting me use some of the footage, and I will say, thanks for watching, and goodbye.